Let's begin by first reviewing previous events whose effect is still persisting. People are living with a global currency, Revelation 13, 16, and 17. Israel's living under a covenant with their borders expanded and worshiping at the third temple, Daniel 9:27. The little horn is now the world leader, Revelation 6, 1 and 2. And a war for the Temple Mount is being waged by the Islamic world, Revelation 6, 3 and 4. Revelation 8, 7. The first angel sounded, and there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of trees was burnt, and all green grass was burnt up. To understand the first trumpet, we need to look to Psalms 105, 32, and 33. He gave them hail for rain, and flaming fire in their land. He smote their vines also, and their fig trees, and brake the trees of their coasts. Here God gives details of the barley harvest's destruction, using a thunderstorm to facilitate its destruction. Using this biblical example, the first trumpet will consist of a series of 5 to 6 storms worldwide, which destroys the year's wheat crop and 1/3 of all fruit-bearing trees. The actual event begins at the first of the 5th month, ending 6 months later. As the supply of grain diminishes, the little horn understands that food distribution is skewed toward the richest nations, causing famine in the less developed nations. Beginning in the 3rd month of the crisis, he implements policies to ensure the survival of all. The first policy is each nation will receive a proportional ration of grain based off their population size, with any remaining grain sold to the highest bidder. Revelation 6, 5 and 6. And when he had opened the third seal, he heard the third beast say, "Come and see." And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts saying, "Measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and wine." Beginning the 5th month, the little horn institutes 2 other policies found in the third seal. The first is a price cap equal to 1 day's minimum wage per measure. In America, this comes to around $77 per measure. The next is portion control. Instead of being able to buy a 10-pound or higher bag of flour, they will only be available in 1 pound or less portions at $77 a pound. The overall effect of this trumpet and seal is that people will be living off of around 1,000 calories a day in order to survive. Revelation 8, 8 and 9. And the second angel sounded, and as it were a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood, and the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, and the third part of the ships were destroyed. In spite of the 144,000 explaining why God is showing us our spiritual condition from the first trumpet, men refused to repent and turned to the ocean for food. 1 week after the first trump's last storm, Mount Teed, an extinct volcano in the Canary Island, erupts. Being dormant so long, the mountain is launched into the air as a cork from a champagne bottle. 2 tsunamis, one from the eruption itself, the other from the mountain landing in the water, races across both the Atlantic and the Mediterranean seas. The tsunamis combined produces a 100-foot wave, destroying all shipping and devastating coastal towns across both bodies of water. A undiscovered bacteria growing on Mount Teed produces a bloom causing the water to turn to blood, killing 1/3 of all sea life. Revelation 8, 10, and 12. And the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp. It fell upon the third part of the rivers, and upon the fountains of the waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many men died of the waters because they were made better. Science tells us that bitterness in water is caused by an increase in its pH levels. Also, they provide a list of chemicals that raise pH levels. If we compare these chemicals to all celestial objects within our solar system, only a meteor from Mars contains any of those chemicals listed. Now, the area hit by wormwood is possibly either Russia or the Amazon basin. As one who has experienced tainted water, I can attest to the fact that people rather dehydrate than to drink the water. This meteor hits about a month after the eruption of Mount Teed, Revelation 6, 7, and 8. And when he opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth angel say, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beasts of the earth. With this seal we close out the first year of the tribulation. Encapsulated in this seal is the major events we have covered so far. Kill with sword was seen within the second seal as troops the world over are drawn into the conflict. Killed with hunger is the first and second trumpet combined. Killed with death is the third trumpet as people refusing to drink the water die from dehydration. Killed with beasts of the earth actually comes from people's desperation to provide food for their families. Those unfamiliar with the dangers of the outdoors will venture out into the wilderness in search of food. Snake bites, stung to death, falling from dangerous heights, using a lower caliber weapon for an intended prey, and the list goes on. Over the next year and a half, a total of over 2 billion people will lose their life. Now let's look at our calendar and see these events as they happen. First, we have May 1, the first trumpet sounded. July 31st, the little horn calls for redistribution of grain. September 4th, the third seal is open. November 1st, the first trumpet ends. November 8th, the second trumpet is sounded. December 8th, the third trumpet is sounded. And December 31st, the fourth seal is open. Thank you.